Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart,
What's going on, people? This is the Film Review. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to mind. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracy.
And welcome to the Film Review, movies, music, culture, politics, and society film magazine. Welcome to the Film Review, movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to mind. Each week, the husband and wife team take you on a discussion on culture in movies, music, politics, and society. Brought to you by LordlandFilms.com. So get ready for this week's The Film Review.
What's going on, people? This is the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And this is the Film Review, where the husband and wife team review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And do we have a great show for you today? We're going to be talking about Jussie Smollett's Shame, Madea's last appearance on film. What's going on, Franklin G?
Hey, Franklin.
See you checking in, watching. R. Kelly's Dilemma. He does have a dilemma. The politics of being black and Democrat while you're trying to diss ADOS. American Descendants of Slavery, American Descendants of Slaves. Okay? So we're going to be talking about those issues today. So while we go through it, we came on a few days ago and we were talking about the Madea film. A Madea Family Funeral. And we told you, go out and see this film because this film is hilarious. Don't see it on bootleg. Go ahead and see it. So we're gonna do the longer review on it today. And before we get started, I got to do this population thing where I go ahead and populate, Facebook.
Well,
let
while
them know
you were
that
doing
we're
that,
on.
I'll go over the cast.
So we're gonna talk about the cast of who's in Madea because Tyler Perry did something special for this one. And we're going to talk about all of that. So let's go through the cast real quick.
So the cast, of course, is starring Tyler Perry, Cassie Davis played Aunt Bam, Patrice Lovely, Hattie, Mike Tyson plays Roy, Sierra Payton, Sylvia, KJ Smith, Carol, Quinn Walters, Renee, Ariel Miranda, Gia, Jen Harper, Diane, AJ, Courtney Burrell, Rome Flynn plays Jussie, David Untunga plays Will. We know David from the I Love New York show. Right.
He was Punk.
Right.
And he also was a wrestler. And he's also married to...
Well, no, he's the ex-fiance.
I'm saying, that's right, ex-fiance to...
Jennifer Hudson.
They never quite made that connection.
Derek Morgan plays Anthony. And Azar Katz, he plays the Undertaker.
That's right. Now, what makes this film so special is I'm getting ahead of myself. Tyler Perry introduces you to new talent, not necessarily actors in the acting field, but he introduces you to new talent, meaning that he brings some internet talent on to be seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated in his thing. I gave him a little bit of one of my monikers for the Black Ice Chronicles, but I get it to him because he did the dang thing in this picture, right? So he introduces you to new talent. Let me type this in.
One thing you'll notice is in this film, definitely this is a film for adults only. In his previous films, you'll see sometimes like children in the film, family members, little nieces, nephews, but this film, no children on set at all. adult humor, 100%. It's just hilarious. This is not a film for children at all.
That's right. It's not at all. Not at all.
I swear, it just the audience was just cracking up.
That's right.
People was coughing and choking and just having a good time talking to the screen. Like, this is, gosh, one of the funniest films that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, hilarious. It was like Uptown Saturday Night, or Let's Do It Again, where every moment there was something that just made you just laugh your butt off throughout the whole thing. So I mean, it's definitely worth seeing. So the plot of the movie, it starts out, the family is getting together for, it seems like some type of anniversary.
Yes.
Some type of anniversary, and they're getting together, and you're introduced to a few new characters that Tyler Perry has in his wheelhouse that he plays the characters for, right? So you're used to Madea's brother, right? But then he introduces you to two more characters that he plays, you know, which is very, you know, painstaking, and you know, as far as the time element of being able to bring this across, to put this on screen, to make it believable, the after effects on the film, the post-production work, excellent. I mean, there are no scenes in it. The only thing that you know is that Tyler Perry is playing this role, but these various roles. But when you're sitting up there and you're watching it, there it's seamless as far as transition from camera angle to camera angle. And at one point, you see Tyler Perry on the screen as the nephew, the uncle, and Madea all at the same time, and it is seamless work. You know, the first time I ever saw that was with on Sanford and Son, where it was supposed to be Red Fox, and Sanford, and and they were supposed to be in the same room together. And that's one of the first times that I saw it utilized. But this is definitely advanced past that, where you can have three people in the room. The sizing is correct. The after effects and the post work, just excellent on the film. I mean, he put all stops in, because this is supposed to be the last Madea film. Him playing Madea, he wants to move on from that. But like we said before, a couple of days ago, we can't see why he would move from it, because he's now just getting in the stride. And if you watch the haves and the have-nots, you know, at first when the show first came on, I said, this is kind of over the top. But as you kept watching it, the drama in it, you know, takes you there, and it's like a updated Dallas or Falcon Crest, except for it's a multicultural cast, predominantly black cast, right? And
great dialogue on that, especially Veronica. She's off the chain.
Yeah. I mean, it's just well done, right? You know, well done, well delivered, entertainment that people can grasp. That's you know, pushing through to the people. You know, I definitely say that. So look, from the reason why I mentioned the have and the have-nots, because that the have and the have-nots is because that is a drama, right? And him producing that drama and writing those scripts and producing that in his Tyler Perry Studios, you find that now when he takes the drama and he applies it to the Tyler Perry films, I mean to the Madea film, right, where the Madea was just mostly comedy, and it had you know, a moral aspect to it, but it was a laugh a minute. This was a nice combination of drama and comedy, and it was dramedy done at a high level, and that's why I said that he's just now hitting his stride, and he should stay with that. Plus the moral message was there. We told you that. So as we were saying, it starts off with anniversary situation,
Right.
and you're introduced to another side of the Madea family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now that you speak of that, he actually could retire Madea, and maybe she can kind of make appearances, but with the other characters that he created, like the cousin and the uncle, now he could do a continuation with them because they were hilarious.
Yeah, he could move on and tell a new...
And the male family members that he played, he
Right.
could move on with them because, I mean, it was just hilarious. It was so funny. Do you remember at the end of the film, normally when you go to the movies, the credits will run and, you know, people are leaving the theater. But this is the first time ever, after the credits are over with, walking them down the hall, people are like in the hallway. Do you remember the one woman? It was her and another woman, and she was falling down, laughing still. I'm like, the movie ended like 3 or 4 minutes ago, because people were like still in the theater, like talking, and credits ran to like it was over, and people were like in the hallway, like literally the one woman I can just think of is just the one that was on the floor. And it was such a diverse audience. This is a white woman, and it was her, and I don't know if it was her sister or her aunt, or because she was just a little bit older than her, but they were both over the age of 30. But I mean, and it just had people just cracking up laughing way after the movie was over. So I feel that he could go on with some of Madea's family members, and maybe Madea could stop by the house or whatever
every now and then.
But I mean, it's just, he did such a great job. There could be a continuation with the relatives.
Yeah, it could. Yeah,
Because they were hilarious.
I see that.
You know, they got as many laughs as Madea, the other characters he played.
Yeah, I'll say so.
Yeah.
I'll say that's true. So as we go on, because it's so good that we're breaking in while we're trying to tell you the synopsis of the film.
Right.
But listen, so there's an anniversary, but then somewhere something happens, and there's a wedding anniversary. Right. And somewhere something happens where the father figure dies under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, and you'll see from there. It takes off.
Right. It takes off.
So
from
actually,
there.
it's a couple of things that happen.
And see, what happens is, unfortunately or fortunately, Madea and her nephew and her cohorts
and her brother,
right, are actually there, to see the demise, so to speak, right? So then the story picks up from there, and it's trying to hold a secret,
right?
And then as the story unfolds, you start to find out that things aren't exactly what you think they are,
right?
And it goes on from there. There is interplay between brother and brother. There's interplay between sister-in-law,
everybody,
and future sister-in-laws, and it's all together. It's just amazing, and it tells a story of trust, and taking advantage of trust, and mistrust, you know, and some mistrust that is aimed at the wrong people unnecessarily.
And then what I love too is like, there's no buffoonery. It's just humor. It's just like, that's what I love about like Tyler Perry, and I think sometimes people get it confused. Like, and you know, and you see buffoonery, but it's just pure comedy, just pure smart comedy. Especially like this one scene, and I don't want to give it away. Wait till you see it. And that scene is just. And it has something to do with what's going on today in the real world. That's right. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So wait till you see this scene. And it's like, it was very like witty humor. And it's kind of like sticking it to him in a way.
it goes to Tyler Perry using the Madea character and all the characters within this particular situation it's not a situation where, like, you know how you go see some black films and then they have to be buffoonery or stereotypical. There are no stereotypical characters in it.
Right.
What I noticed about this is it's played with dignity.
Right.
And that's the most important thing. That's where
it's a fine line. I don't think some people can grasp it. They don't understand. They think buffoonery is kind of what they
need to do.
Yeah, but you don't have
and
to.
you don't have to do that. It could be dignified and tell the story without needing to go to a level that is just. It's like, you know, when you're a certain age, you grew up like watching The Honeymooners, the original, the black and white, right? And you expect that, you know, the storyline can be played straight and not have to have all of the extra in it. And I thought that that's where even the actors in it talked about how they thought that the script would have been different. But then when you have scripts in Caucasian hands or European American hands, they may not paint you in the best light. They say, well, it has to be this way. Has to be, you have to come across and you have to say that. Whereas when you watch the Tyler Perry film, the people are authentic to themselves, and it's a certain, it's played with dignity.
Kind of like, it reminds me of, I always felt, because he kind of reminds me of like dry humor. Like when my grandfather, he had great dry humor. Will have you cracking up. But like James Evans on Good Times, he was straight, right? You know, no buffoonery, but he would just have you cracking up. And he played his character with dignity. There was no, you know,
over the topness necessary.
Not at all. But it was just, the writing was really good and just had you cracking up. So yeah, you're gonna enjoy. If you have not seen it yet, in which everyone should have seen it by now, but definitely go and see Tyler Perry's Madea Family Funeral. It's hilarious.
Madea Family Funeral.
So if not this weekend, go see it next week.
Yeah, but I would say go see it during the week.
Right.
You know what I mean? True. Go see it during the week, and then go see it again because it's worth seeing again because there's so much that's within it that you might miss some things the first time. So you have to go back and watch it again. You have to go back and watch it for the technical, not only the entertainment aspect of it, but the technical skill that it took to pull this off. Did you know, people, that Tyler Perry, the first film to actually shoot at Tyler Perry Studios, he has like, I think he says he has like 20 some sound stages now. But the first big budget film to actually shoot at the Tyler Perry films was Panther, Black Panther.
Wow, that's nice.
Right? So I mean, here's this man in Atlanta, and his studio is growing, and they showed the picture of the lot. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the number of buildings. I'm like, this is turning into like you know, like our Paramount Studios, you know, because I always think about it as it's an advancement of us when people are working through. It's not like I have to go try to do it, because I can just go to his studios and do my thing at his studios, because that's what we do anyway when we want to get contracts with Paramount or Universal. We want to go to their studios and shoot there. Same thing. We don't have to have our own studio. We got a studio. From there, then it's just writing and then being able to get the budget together to go shoot. Right? Because the man is providing a place for you to have this ability to go shoot, and that's what the main important part of having the Tyler Perry studio. So Black Panther shot there.
Right.
Can you believe that? And look at the quality of Black Panther, right?
Won all types of Oscars for studio design, with art design, as well as costume design.
Costume design, that's right.
Yep.
All right, speaking of costume design, and the Oscars. Oh, first of all, let's do the rating on the film first. Tyler Perry.
Definitely, of course, a 10 plus. And then, and some, depending on what city you're in, some theaters have like the $5 Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So to definitely be able to catch that film for like $5, they have the $5 days.
That's right, and it is not for children.
Not at all.
We want to say that, right? But but at the same time, if you can't catch it for the $5, or give it full fare, because Tyler Perry deserves to be paid on this one. Do not see it on bootleg.
No.
Because what I notice is, I think that people sometimes cheat themselves out of the experience of the theater, of being with people who you don't know, that will laugh along with you.
And then there's no excuse now, because you can receive that full theater effect, because like I said, if you can't make it on the weekend because of your busy schedule, you can check it out on a weekday and catch that $5 special. Why cheat yourself when you can experience seeing it on the big screen and enjoying it with a huge audience? And
I think that theaters have different sets, scales as far as pay, because I think like there's $5 movies. The first showing is usually $5. I believe now that's the way it is, right? So there's no excuse to not go to the movies and enjoy a good film. Right. So now, we talked about the technical, we talked about the writing, we talked about the acting, we talked about that it was drama. That's right. Yeah. The you have to see it. The choir scene, hilarious. Yeah. Right? Yeah. The music, the acting, the storyline, the writing, the costuming, all of it excellent. The post-production effects on it, beautifully done. Introducing new characters into the situation, everything beautiful. So what would you rate the film?
The 10. Definitely.
That's right.
Yeah.
I rate that
across the board.
I rated a 10 also. Right? Now, speaking of the Oscars, and speaking of the win for Mahershala
who
That's
did
right.
a great job in Green Book. I was just kind of confused, because after seeing the film, I thought he would be the lead actor. So I know the other actor had more years, I guess, in acting, a bigger name. But the way they pushed the film, I thought that he would be considered the lead, actually.
I mean, the way they pushed it.
All of the marketing for the film, he was pushed in the forefront. But he did an excellent job, and he deserved his Oscar.
Now, in our review, we told you that, there were some situations like they kind of had the character one-dimensional. We also told you in the review of Green Book that it was actually a story between the Italian man and the Italian woman, the driver and his wife, and it was really a love story between those two. That's what it was, and a story of distance and not being together was really what it was about. Really, that was the storyline, and then somewhere they weaved in this driving trip where you get to know the characters and how they made a bond of friendship, having to go down through the deep south, right? So the movie is worth seeing. Now, the question is, was it better than Black Klansman, and was it better than Black Panther? Was it better, first of all, was it better than A Star is Born? Yes. I'm going to say that. Absolutely. We had already said that, so that's no shocker to people who would come in and know the film review.
Now, which Star is Born are you talking? No, let me stop. I'm just being funny.
Now.
I love Barbra Streisand.
Now, see, for those who have never... Hey, how you doing, Nikki? Thanks for checking in and watching. For those of you who have never seen the original Star is Born,
You have to see it. Well, one of the originals, because there
well, there
are
was
like
it's four, right?
But the one with Barbara Streisand and Chris Christopherson.
Hey, what's going on, Nick? We saw you on the red carpet doing your thing. What's up with what is her name?
Thank you. We love you too.
The lawyer woman. What's her name?
Who?
She interviewed her. What's her name?
Interview who?
The one that goes
Lady Gaga?
against the lawyer. The lawyer woman is trying to get R. Kelly. They brought the women up. What's her name? Albright.
Oh, okay.
All Red.
Oh,
All Red.
Yeah.
Yes. What's going on with All Red, Nikki? Like, how come she's not going after all of the Caucasian men that have the pedophile rings in Hollywood? She's not going after that.
Well,
but she's going
Avenatti
after R.
is in
Kelly.
on it now too, right?
Yeah, wait a minute. I thought Avenatti, the last time Avenatti, or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
last time we heard about him a few months ago when he had said he was possibly running for president,
Right.
the Democrats dropped him when he had come up with the new woman
Right.
against Trump, right?
Right.
I wondered why. Yeah, I wondered why too.
Yeah.
The last woman, he was up for trouble. They had said something about he was under some investigation for Me Too, for sexual harassment. Next thing you know, he's out the last couple of weeks talking about he's got new sex tapes on R. Kelly. And I was like, what happened to his sexual harassment case? It went away once he decided and agreed to take on and try to bring down R. Kelly. I mean, that's real strange. I mean, it's just a real strange thing, right? And so all of a sudden he comes back with this, and it just shows you can't trust him, because first he was talking about running for president.
Right.
Now he's talking about going after R. Kelly. It's really a really interesting situation that I need to know the answer to. The sex tapes. That's right.
Yeah.
They're old. They're not new. A matter of fact, they say that it might still be the same person, and they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, they are old. Right.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah, we have to say allegedly. They are old, and it's supposed to be the same.
Yeah.
But when they want to get somebody, they do double jeopardy on them, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
She said they can't try him again.
I mean, they can't try him again, but if they say they got some new tapes, but they're going to try him on the same thing, and of course we're going to take it hook, line, and sinker because the R. Kelly documentary came out. So R. Kelly has a dilemma. Well, he had a dilemma way back, because once he was acquitted of the other charges, because like I said, they said the charges were distributing pornography, but he never distributed pornography. Again, it was the people who were actually distributing it at the swap meets and all the different places. Those were the ones who were actually distributing pornography. They should have been picked up.
Yeah.
So how it got out of the hands of lawyers allegedly and got out there on the street, we'll never know. But we never know. But anywho.
She said, let's see, the girl who created the documentary is my Facebook friend. Been known her for years.
Yeah, did you
Dream Hampton?
Did you ask her? Did you ask her what was going on? How did he get it? And all of the other people, the Me Too movement.
Right.
So R. Kelly had a dilemma back in the day, because he had got off from that, right? And why didn't he get some help?
Right.
He had a dilemma. He said, okay, I got out of this.
Yeah.
I could go back to doing what I was doing, or I could do that. And it appeared, allegedly, by what they say on the documentary, that he was out there going full-fledged and doing this, right? My question is, how can you send someone if the people don't come forward to testify? And is it just
look at
spilled
what
milk?
they did to Bill Cosby, right?
Look what they did
they
to
can
Bill
do
Cosby.
basically whatever they want based on hearsay.
Nick, did you ask her about Bill Cosby and why they did Bill Cosby in? Why they did that? why they did him in like that? I mean, like, the man was old. You know, there's questions that need to be answered. And why isn't she going after the pedophile mafia? I mean, you know, I'm just saying, right? So R. Kelly has a dilemma, and he's in a dilemma now because this situation is crazy. First of all,
yeah, because like Nikki said, like, it's been known for years, right? So everyone has known about R. Kelly, and they should have took care of this like a long time ago. She says, no, I haven't talked about it because they targeting him. Okay.
Right. But they need to ask, what about the pedophile mafia?
She said, yep, they're targeting. Yep, they are targeting.
What about the pedophile mafia out there?
They're picking and choosing who they target.
I mean, I saw her holding the poster up for you on the camera and everything, and I was like, wow. You know, that'd be the time to let her know that it's not safe. Are
She
they
said,
so?
all the so-called victims still with him. Yeah. Weren't they in the courtroom? I heard during his case they were there to support him. The two women who are still living with him.
Obviously, the family situation wasn't as good as they're making it out to be. Obviously, it wasn't a great family situation, and they need to look at it that way, that maybe it just wasn't a great family situation. They got out of a situation.
She said, yep, they be everywhere. Yeah, they do.
That's right. I mean, it looks like they have free to come and go as they please, but you know where they don't want to go?
Home.
They don't want to go home. I mean, so obviously home is where the heart is, right? And obviously their heart is with R. Kelly.
Yeah, the money is the problem. That's what she said.
Right. So at this point, he's gotten bailed out of jail.
Right.
And he's free.
Everyone wants money.
What's going on in Chicago, though, really? For those people who are Chicago people, like, you know, let us know what is actually happening in Chicago, Illinois. It's a lot of strangeness going on there, because not only did you have R. Kelly,
now you're on the Jussie Smollett,
but you know, Empire shoots there, right? And Jussie, it's Jussie, not Jesse.
Yep, Jussie.
Jussie Smollett. Right. He shoots there. But then there's another famous Jesse Jackson who had a love child. Who was also a moral leader in the black community, but somehow, and he was talking about that President Obama's genitalia should be cut off for talking about men's responsibilities, and then he was on the hot mic just before he was being interviewed. Then next thing you know,
his real name is
Justin.
Okay.
But then right after that, the proof came out that he had a love child. You know, right after that, right?
Right.
So that was strange. That was all happening during President Obama's presidency, when President Obama was talking about black men and their responsibility. But you know what you find out as you go along in life? You find out that the things that they come down on the black community for as a whole, all the different groups of people are doing it. But for some reason, they focus in on that. But that's another discussion for another time. But anyway, Justin or Jussie Smollett.
Yeah, he did. She said, who had a love child? Yeah, Jussie Jackson.
Yeah. Now, and he was a moral guy. He could go over there and get hostages free. As soon as the Muslims overseas, you know, the Ottoman Turks found out that he, descendants of Ottoman Turk, because the original ones were black. But anyway, the Ottoman Turks found out that he was immoral, even though allowed them to practice in some. But that's a whole nother story for another time too. They said he could never come back over there. He might get his head cut off. So he lost that ability of being a moral rudder in the world because he had a child. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, Jussie Smollett, right? Jussie Smollett, was she?
Right. She said, I don't like how he talks bad about Obama. Yeah, me neither. That was uncalled for. I think he was jealous.
Yeah, but then Obama is talking about the insecurities of hip-hop acts. And didn't he have hip-hop acts in the White House?
He selected
Common?
certain.
Didn't he have
didn't
Jay-Z?
just choose anybody.
Yeah, but Jay-Z...
Obama didn't have any twerking in the White House.
Wait a minute.
There was no twerking in the White House.
But you had elements. Look, it's like this. It's like how Oprah came down on Ludacris. Now, Ludacris may have said the B word in his records, but Ludacris is never a drug dealer. He was a radio personality. She comes down on him, but on the other hand, she raised up and revered 50 Cent and Jay-Z. Jay-Z and 50 Cent were saying the B word in their records. And they had women in their videos and everything. And for some reason, it was a pick and choose. And when I remember when that happened, and I know Ludacris has gotten over it now, but I think he never like really recovered from that.
Yeah, she said that Nikki said Oprah had to come back and apologize to those rappers too.
Yeah, I mean, because but that was in the back page. That wasn't on page 6. That was in the bottom page.
Yeah, she said,
right?
I remember. Yeah.
And Ludacris never really recovered from that because Ludacris was just a good guy that made
Did you
fun
say he didn't recover? But
music.
I mean, look at this Fast and Furious.
I mean, he's in the
franchise.
Fast and Furious, but it kind of
slowed him down.
It slowed him down because that was Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey's words, can affect. They can cut, right? Meanwhile, at the same time, you're saying that was closer, right? So you're cutting him and asking him on your show about it, but then later you bring 50 Cent and his dog is named after Gail, right? And then he went to Jay-Z and the Marcy Projects. Oh yeah, this is where I used to do that thing, right? So,
but that's Jay-Z. Everybody loves.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
she said closer. Yeah. Okay,
closer. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
And so, it's just strange. It's just strange about popularity and everything, and then how. Okay, so now here you are. Right. Jay-Z wore gold chains. Right. Jay-Z had the gold tooth one time in his mouth. Right. It's called maturity. Jay-Z said, "What else would I talk about, you dumb? Other than that, I come from nothing. So what else would I talk about but girls, cars, clothes, jewelry, and all that once I made it? And then as you get older, then you're able to advance out of that because you've had these things." He's sitting up there doing the Me Too movement now because it's expedient to move him along, and he's turning against. That's the only thing I have a question about President Obama about and First Lady Michelle is, did they just use people for the expediency of getting their message across to get elected, and now whatever the movement is and pushing along, they want to push this along and say that and start to go at hip-hop, and hip-hop has created a lot of millionaires. No one ever says anything about the white rock bands of the 80s with the big hair, and they had the girls, and they had them in bikinis and going around, and it was misogynistic. Nobody ever says anything about that, or nobody ever goes back and talks about that. Let's have fair play. Just because they're young black male millionaires and young female black millionaires and everyone else who gets a chance to get into the music to make some coins, just because it's a majority black art form doesn't mean that people have to keep coming down upon it. Like, you're not going to tell someone who's just come from nothing, who gets something, who then gets a chance to get out there and be upwardly mobile from nothing. They got to have time to work that out. You're not gonna say, hey, you should be mature already. You should know what a 35-year-old man knows and you're only 17. That's some bull. That's bull. And if he was that way at
you don't think
15,
he's just
16, 17?
you don't think he's just throwing out advice?
No, because
everybody, he
everybody
said, wasn't it something like the young guys that like maybe you need to stop, not just focus on the girls who's twerking, kind of like move beyond that, and the girls.
But
should,
most dudes
it's
don't
one
marry.
thing to
most guys don't marry the females that are twerking.
Well, some of them do, because
I mean,
well, in the industry they do.
Okay, that's the industry. I'm talking about. There's the people they go and they have the entertainment, but then they go marry a person that is a decent woman.
Yeah, but
right?
I mean, I don't think that Obama is coming down on the rap community.
I just think that
I think what he's saying is that basically, you know, kind of. Okay, not everyone has like a father in their home or mother in their home that raised them, right? Some people had to raise themselves based on their situation, maybe their grandmother, maybe they didn't have grandparents to do it. But because Obama knows that he's respected by most people, that maybe these guys would maybe take advice from him. So Nikki says most guys don't marry twerkers in the entertainment industry. All rappers marry their high school sweethearts. That's true. Maybe I'm thinking about Kanye and Kim and her, all of them.
I didn't think that she was a twerker.
Well, no, she was a porn
tape
right
star.
Well, you know, they did a little twerking on the videos. But that is true, Nikki, that a lot of them, like Ice Cube and all of them. But I guess I'm talking about these younger guys.
And see, that's what I'm saying.
The Soldier Boys. Who was he just with the other week? The Black China. And Black China's been with so many of these, her and the Kardashians and all of them, these, you know, the different rappers and you know, so now I guess it's the younger generation that I'm thinking of that are, you know, idolizing the strippers and nothing against them, but yeah, she said most rappers marry high school sweethearts.
But
yeah,
what I see is, you brought up Soulja Boy.
Right.
Soulja Boy was smashed by the older generation of rappers. I'm not talking about sexually smashed. I'm talking about verbally smashed, talking about he wasn't hip hop and he wasn't that, and it took 50 Cent to take him under his wing and to protect him from the spilled milk crew, I thought.
You see, Nikki said they are doing that for money and fame. Young ones do for social media. Right, yeah. Right.
So, you know, for him being, he was the one that came from off of MySpace.
Right.
He's the one that set the trend.
Right.
So he blew up at 17 years old. Yeah. So he was in the industry, and probably he's had situations where...
Yeah, he is a genius.
Right. He's probably had situations where he's out there and the women who are not in the industry don't understand what he has to go through.
Right.
And so it might be jealousy there because once they get with the person who is in the industry, they get possessive, possibly. Okay. Don't know that for a fact.
Right.
But I'm just saying that's probably what it is. So he's in the industry trying to find someone who will understand his situation in the industry and know how hard it is, and that's what I'm seeing there.
He said he's still blowing up and had a break now. Yeah, he's back again. That was an excellent interview on the Breakfast Club.
Right.
He talked about
he did the Breakfast
all of his
Club.
different business ventures and projects
stopped.
But you know what, after seeing him on that, what is that, the celebrity with the boot camp,
right, with
him in a relationship, Soulja Boy, you kind of like feel for him as well as the girlfriend, like they're in two different places, like in their lives, mentally. And so, you know, you could see on the show that they were gonna head towards like breaking up. So then he's like, gets with like China, but I guess he clarified, he wanted everybody to know it wasn't serious. It was kind of like a hit it type situation.
Hit it quick.
Yeah.
But The main point on him is he was unfairly treated by those who did not understand the new wave of hip hop acts.
Are the people who talk about what do they term it as? What, mumble rappers?
Or they say mumble rap and all that. They did not understand that he was the beginning of the new wave, the new style. It's just like how KRS-One once talked about. He said, if everybody bowed down to the king, would they be? I forget the exact lyrics, but he said they wouldn't be happy. Am I wrong? So in other words, he brought in a new sound off of Run DMC. Run DMC brought the new sound in from off of the hoo-ha and you don't stop, right? And then it moved forward, and each time then Public Enemy brought in a new sound coming from Strong Island. You know what I'm saying? And then hip hop branched out, and then new sounds came, went out to the West Coast. West Coast showed it, then showed how to make money off of it, and the South has been running it. And we've talked about that before, how the East Coast is calling everybody country, and that's why Atlanta will continue to hold it. So that's my point. So he was unfairly targeted. So that works on a person's mindset, and hip hop is I am the best at it. So he goes out there and he delivers still strongly, and he's back at what he's doing. So my thing about that is President Obama did not come from a situation where he came from the bricks. He did not come from the bricks. He was staying out in Hawaii. He grew up in a family that was, if not upper middle class, and we know that middle class white existence is different than middle class black existence, because after World War II, they got land for free. They didn't have the GI Bill got them land and schooling for free. Black people were not allowed to take advantage of that because of segregation. They weren't letting you move from out of the old buildings. They weren't letting you do that. So this is what we are. So his existence is different than somebody that came from the bricks.
So is it easier for Obama to focus on something like hip hop instead of focusing on real issues that need to be tackled in the community?
That's right. He should be tackling the disparities, the housing disparities, the banking and loan disparities. He should be tackling that.
Police brutality.
He should be tackling that. He should be tackling telling the young guys how to fight in that arena, and not talk about taking away a person who hasn't had anything. Let them have time to go out there on the boat. When the lifestyles of the rich and famous was on in the 80s, nobody told them stop sniffing cocaine and stop riding on the boats. We're watching that show about the trading.
Don Cheadle, Black Monday.
It's talking about the years that were happening, and those people were out there sniffing cocaine openly. They were trading, doing money, throwing money around frivolously.
But white people are more lenient on each other when it comes to that. Kind of like with this whole opiate thing, right? So they want to put their people in treatment, and you know, they're not saying put them in jail.
And what was the first thing that we do? Or some of us, the older generation, said, lock them up. Give us 3 strikes. Put 100,000 more police officers out there on the street. This is what we're talking about. And Obama is just staying in that tradition of that generation, and that thought pattern that it should be punishment instead of treatment, or compassion and understanding, and that this particular genre of music, if I came from nothing, you best believe, you know, I'm going to wear the gold chains. I'm going to be driving in the big cars. I'm going to be doing that because that is a sign of success. And as I get older and I start to invest my money, then I'm able to go on and do that. So I don't necessarily believe in what President Obama is doing right there. It's a former President Obama is doing right there, because when he was in the White House, it's good that he can talk all that against people who were for him, but he could never say anything against the people that were against him. If it's one thing that Trump teaches us, Trump, number 45, teaches black people in general is, it should just be a common sense to us now, that what was always told to us before by the older generations is true, which I won't go into that. But this is what he teaches us. Here's a man that was not into politics. He was a businessman. And he's getting everything passed that the Republicans want. The Republicans are fighting for him. They see what's happening. They could care more. I'll say that. They could care more about what's happening, but they don't. And so here he is. He's doing everything, and then the Democrats are trying to stop him, right? At the time when the Democrats, when President Obama was elected, the Democrats had the House and the Senate, right? There were blue dog Democrats that are actually Republicans that were fighting against what he was saying. They weren't thinking like a monolith. Even Nancy Pelosi was against President Obama on some of his policies, right? And then they went into the minority in the House and the Senate. And then it went on from there, and it dragged on, and it dragged on, and it dragged on, and it dragged on. But Trump is in there, and for some reason, everything he says goes.
Those
and
Republicans
so that shows you
are,
the
what's the saying? Those Republicans are thick as thieves. Like they stick together. They stick together. Like that Al Franklin. I don't understand why.
Well, Al Franklin. Yeah. Why they let him go? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that was years ago. He apologized. That should have been it. It's like the Democrats are shooting the people. And he was the strongest one. Yeah, he would have been able to go at people. He was a bulldog.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
He was a pit, right? He was ready to go. But hey, this is what it is. So as far as Obama and all that is concerned, President Obama, former President Obama, he should lay off of that. I believe. He should lay off of that. And he should worry about the different, how can I say, the different immigrants that are in this country that are practicing the invasion of the black body snatchers. Now, 21 Savage is set to be deported, people. Did you know that? Did you know that? And he's still out there doing his thing. But for a while, he was doing drill music, and we talked about that. And it's funny how the Democrats are putting up people like Kamala Harris, right? And Kamala Harris, though she is black, her lineage and line does not come from ADOS.
No, she says she's a woman of color.
Yeah, she's a woman of color, but she does not come from ADOS. So it would be better if people would just tell the truth. If they would say, I don't come from the struggle. Like Obama did not come from out of the lineage of the struggle from 1619 or 1554. He didn't come from that lineage, right? His father comes from Kenya, right? His mother was originally from Kansas, Hawaii, right? That is not the lineage or the battle of ADOS. So maybe that's why he can't really understand and still cannot relate to what's going on even in hip hop, though he used hip hop acts to get elected. And that's my thought on it. So now we have Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris did the whole thing. She does the dancing thing, and she said that she smoked weed. But did you notice? This is what's so strange. Fox News was the only one. We happened to be flipping channels, and Fox News we stopped because Fox News had the story about her father coming out and saying that she was a disgrace for talking about smoking weed and doing all that, trying to relate to black Americans in this country, right? MSNBC or CNN did not cover that. And I don't think that that's right, because the father came out and said, stop this foolishness. Stop this and be who you are. That's what we want. We want authentic people. You can say, hey, I'm black. I don't come from American descendants of slavery or American descendants of slaves, but I believe that I can do this. But when the people who do not come from that, they often talk about immigrants and immigration. And Barbara Jordan told us that immigration was not good for, she wasn't calling it that then, but ADOS, immigration is not good for ADOS. Right? So being black and Democrat while dissing ADOS. We have had people, we've seen Reed, what's her name? Joanne Reed. They just call her Joy now. Joy Reed now. Right? They dropped the "and" off. They said, that sounds kind of ethnic. So let's just do Joy Reed. We've seen her on her show, and she is constantly talk about how
those bots.
They're bots. Now let's use common sense, people. All people are telling you ADOS. That can't be bots, because the Russians don't know that much, right? So we have to use common sense. This doesn't have to do with that. They first launched this about maybe 9 months ago. It was like the birth of a baby. They launched it. They said that black people were affected by the bots, and that's why they didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. The majority of black folks didn't vote for Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton was there calling people predators. Calling young kids predators. What do they call their kids to get up there and do destruction in white communities? They say, hey, we need to build a community center, get them off the street, help them out. Black people, hey, we got the juvenile detention center for you. Right? So she said these things, and she was there for the 100,000 police officers on the street. Right. She was there for 3 strikes. Though she was not in office, she was pushing for this. You can't come in and talk to us and dance with us and say, did you see her? She was at the New Cellar. It was cold. It wasn't like when Obama was out there. It was cold for the anniversary of Selma. And she was standing out there. Do you think Hillary Clinton was standing out there because she's supporting Cory Booker?
No. She's running for president.
No, she's coming back, and she sat there, and anyone, and it's cold outside, anyone who doesn't have a hat on, like that Gillibrand. Oh. She didn't have a hat on. Like, put a hat on your head. I can't think of her name. Corbachal, whatever her name is. She was out there with no hat on.
In Minnesota.
It's snowing. Right. You've got the it's like, put a hat on. Put a nice knit cap on. It's cold outside. Who didn't have it organized? If your campaign isn't organized to have a covering, a vest of you for you, what? Then that means that you're going to be disorganized as you're running for president. All these people have disqualified themselves by coming out and trying to say that because we don't want to go through the same thing that we did with President Obama, we want to have someone come up who will actually speak on issues about black people, descendants, American descendants of slaves, American descendants of slavery. There's nothing to be ashamed of because we built this country. All of the seeds that came to plant here, we brought them.
It's weird to me because, like the other presidents, like the different agendas for other groups of people, which is, hey, that's fine, but you shouldn't be ashamed to say, hey, this is what we need to, this is what I want to implement for black Americans. Because during the last presidency with President Obama, he had passed many bills for with the LGBT.
He used the stroke of the pen.
Right. And then as well as for the Latino community, the dreamers and the, so as well as, wasn't there reparations given to, was it the Native Americans?
Native Americans, they always give reparations.
So, but it's so weird to me how it's okay to have programs and, for other groups and to focus on helping them, right? But to be ashamed to say, this is what I want to do for Black Americans, American descendants of slaves. So it's just weird to me. And when I see candidates that are uncomfortable to speak on issues for Black Americans, ADOS, as easily as they can't do it as easily as they do for other groups, it makes me think like, what the hell is going on? It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable as far as I don't think I want to give you my vote, because you're telling me that I need your vote for you to put me in office. But when I'm there, I'm going to focus on all other groups, right? And you, American descendants of slaves, will get whatever crumbs fall down, which makes me think of the drawing that Tariq Nasheed had, right? So it's kind of like, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand. So it's okay to help everyone, help everybody, right? But including us, right? Because we did build this country, and you got a lot of free labor out of us, all of our ancestors for years, correct? Right? So, and everyone else received reparations, and you didn't have problems figuring that out, right? So why is there a problem when it's time to figure it out for us?
The truth about it is that they were stacking the deck with immigration. And so the Irish came over from the potato famine. And they told them, okay, you go out and become patty rollers, and then you can get your citizenship, and we will call you white. So all of these different people that come in, they have brought them in and then said that you are now classified as white to build the numbers up. Right. So the reason why immigration is a problem now for us in particular is because Barbara Jordan put out the report and told us that the immigration that was happening and why they were doing it back then in the 1800s was to try to get us outnumbered, to try to get rid of us. Even Thomas Jefferson wrote that the black and the white would not be able to coexist together, so he had thought of deporting the black people, the slaves. After slavery, once slavery would come to the end, you would have to deport them back. So that's why they had tried Liberia, but then that's why the Liberian wars happened, because some black people from America went back over there and were telling them that they were not civilized, and then they said, wait a minute, we're Liberians and we have our own civilization. You can't come over and tell us that we should be dressing like this or like that. And that's what started those wars off, and this is what's happening. So when you look at it, immigration was always something to try to keep black people down. ADOS down. That's the facts. That's the truth of it. So when you look at it and you say, okay, we also started Pan-Africanism. So we started going there and started working on ourselves and to try to make our connection back in. But then somewhere in the time when they passed the Fair Housing Act was good for us, but they also, when the immigrants came, they didn't have to necessarily stay with us anymore. So then that's where the split started happening, and then you would see black people who looked black, who came from other countries, going and want to stay with white folks. And this is where we are today, and this is the truth of it. So it's not like how people who fight against ADOS, they talk about, well, Malcolm X's parents were immigrants, and other people they mention, right? But what would have been if fair housing had happened then? Would Malcolm X's people had stayed with black people, or would they have tried to move with the whites?
Well, then they said, like, one of his parents was a DOS. One was an immigrant. So.
Right. But if it was fair housing and the one who came over, would they have even met? Would Malcolm Little have even existed if fair housing had been in existence? So we have to look at it like that, and we have to start to really say, hey, we have to get ourselves together as people who are ADOS and say, hey, we love y'all, you know what I'm saying? We're all black,
right.
But if you're not on the whole situation, because the truth of the matter is that slavery was everywhere, but you got to go with the people who enslaved your people. Like the Portuguese came in and did some things to people and mixed up the race. You got to go back to and talk to them. You got to go talk to the Spaniards about your situation. You got to go talk about the English people. We're here in America. The American government at the time was for first slavery, then they fought a war, then they were for Jim Crow and segregation. And this is what's happening. And during the segregation, people who were European Americans got certain advantages that now they have to get off the pot and spread the wealth around to people who did not get those advantages because of segregation. And that's what this is all about. So the more immigrants that come in, it makes it bad for us. It's not about us going out there and doing the $2.50 job of picking something. That's not what we're talking about. These people are coming in and they are assuming first identity. That's why we here at the Film Review talk about invasion of the black body snatchers. That's what we called it. And then you have others that come in who don't even think about black people at all. You know, all of the advantages, all the set-asides. You know, I had an African woman tell me one time, there's so many programs and things. And I looked at her and I said, yeah, because those are the programs that they gave to you. And they stripped it from us, but you don't know that, and you're ignorant to it. And you're trying to act like you're better, right? But it's one thing though. Some of the people who are second generation, they have to deal with the police. The police don't know what you are. And even when they did know with Abba-Dubadalo, right? When they knew who he was, they still gave him the plunger. Right?
Or the young man in Dallas.
Right. They knew, they could tell the accent. They know
Right.
what you are. Right? So this is what's really happening here. And so it's so great to see people who were, why don't you get out and get work and get a job and stand up for yourself while you got all the programs that it was supposed to be set aside for us as ADOS. You get it now, and you say, why don't you get up and stand up on your 4 feet? Now they have to be on TV and say racism and white supremacy, and it's just so great. So now, a black eye as we close. We talked about R. Kelly. You know, what's going on in Chicago? It's a lot of things going on in Chicago, but Jussie Smollett, it's a bad situation. We got off on a tangent, but we're coming back around. Empire shoots there. He comes there. He says first that it was MAGA hats, right? But then he relies on 2 immigrants to do this, right?
Well, he could have been confused. Maybe they had red hats on.
They didn't have red hats because they had the videotape on them, and he got on TV and said, yes, undoubtedly that's them.
But
what did he think was going to happen?
Maybe when they hit him, I mean, that could have caused a concussion, and he thought
and he saw the mask, and like the superintendent Johnson says, he said that he saw white under the mask, saw white skin under the mask. Okay. For one thing, the Jussie Smollett situation is not a race issue as we close out. This is shameful. Jussie Smollett. This is Jussie Smollett's shame because it is not a race issue. This is not about black and white. This is not about the mega hat and black people and racism. This is a LGBTQI problem. This is a man who identifies himself as LGBTQI, who was fighting the battle for LGBTQI. This is what this is about. This is not a race issue whatsoever. This is a situation of a gay man talking and saying that he was brutalized because they said that he was
basically
gay.
So based on false allegations, allegedly, right? So my thing is, so does that mean the woman who called the police on the children for various things, what the kid that was selling water, or what about the Tamir Rice in Cleveland, the little boy? They said he had a gun. The man that called said the little boy had a gun. It was a toy gun.
No.
How about the How about the man that was in Walmart, right? The Caucasian customer who called the police and knew that this man was in Walmart with one of the Walmart rifles, looking at it, and he was in the section where they sold the rifles.
And they came in and shot him.
Or how about the woman that's still alive who made the false allegation against Emmett Till, right? So are we going to go back and arrest all of those people who made false allegations?
No.
As well as so many others that I didn't name. So let's just be fair.
But see, this is not what Jussie Smollett was fighting for. He didn't get up on AMC.
Right.
I mean, on
Good
GMA.
Morning America. Yeah.
He didn't get up on GMA.
Right.
And say, he said that any gay male, LGBTQ, could stand up and fight back because he fought back. He was not talking.
No, I see what you're saying.
Wait.
I see what you're saying. But
that's what I'm saying.
Everybody else needs to go to jail.
What I'm saying is, we can't say that this was a race issue when he was pushing LGBTQI. Right? So that's mixing situations. Had it been actually people talking about MAGA, wearing the MAGA hat, right? Make America Great Again hat, and they had actually beat up on him and called him the N-word, right? And it was about that, and that had actually happened. But it would come out to be that it was false, and it was two guys that he hadn't talked about gay issues or put the gay issue up front. Then you could say, okay, well, all right, he did a false thing, and then they did a false thing. Boom. Yeah. But just because he is a black man, because race is not supposed to matter, right? So he is not a black man who was racially targeted. He is a LGBTQI man, and that's what he pushed forward. And he did false allegations, and they wanted everybody to jump on the bandwagon. And when you didn't jump on the bandwagon, you were filleted and skewered on the stake for being a hater. So the main point is, this is an LGBTQI situation, and those other examples don't play out because he was not pushing for anti-racism. He was pushing against anti-bigotry against LGBTQ. So that's their problem. That's just because he's black doesn't mean anything. He was speaking as a gay man, saying that young gay males could stand up and fight back. It is not a black issue.
Well, my issue is the issue that the Chicago police have, as well as others who feel the same, as far as it being an issue of making false allegations and wasting the city's money. So my point is, all of those other people who wasted the time and the money of their police departments and took the lives of innocent people, period, based on false allegations.
There we go.
Right?
Now,
so then we need to put those people in jail based on false allegations.
That's right. It is not
So
a race. That's right.
False
That's
allegations.
Right. Now
let's start putting everybody in jail that's making false allegations.
There we go. Now we're getting to it. It's not about race. It's about that woman who made false allegations against
little boy and the little boy recently in New York. The woman who said that he touched her.
Right. False allegations against her. She should also be charged.
Right.
The person who called on Tamir Rice in Cleveland when he was playing outside with a pop gun needs to be handled because they were false allegations, and they should be handled and prosecuted because it took manpower and investigation time away from other crimes, actual crimes going on in those different cities, and that's why they should be fined and also have a trial and possibly do jail time because they wasted taxpayer money on false allegations.
And how about George Zimmerman? For me, I feel that when he picked up his phone and called the police because he saw
a person just walking,
a young black man.
No, not black. It's not black.
Okay, so we're not talking about color, right?
It's a false allegation. He falsely accused. He stalked and hunted him. And so before we even get to stand your ground.
So we're not talking about race, just Trayvon Martin as just a human being.
As a human being, as a person just walking.
Period.
Having
falsely accused this young male, a kid at that.
Falsely accused of being some people who were doing.
He would be alive today.
That's right.
Had he not did that. So why isn't Zimmerman?
So that's why you. So
let's lock him up too.
Because it's not about.
Let's start locking him up.
It goes before stand your ground. It goes to falsely accusing someone and stalking someone as they were trying to get home.
Exactly.
That's right. So it's not about race. It's about
false allegations. He
false
did not have any
he
proof,
didn't have, and he did
any
not
tangible
have
proof.
He was nothing but a security person.
Right.
He didn't have the legal right.
Right.
To take this person's life. Right. When the person was trying to go home. Right. And thus is so because he didn't have that. Right. And he was assuming and wanted to be the judge, jury, and executioner. It was actually Trayvon Martin that was standing his ground. Exactly. To try to get back to his younger sibling that was at his his father's girlfriend's apartment.
So if we're talking about, again, just taking it back around to
Jussie Smollett,
right? If we're going to, if some people feel he should be arrested based on false accusations,
claiming wasting taxpayer dollars,
and all of those other people should be too. So let's start opening those cases back up, right?
For that
reason.
Not because of race.
No, based on false allegations.
That's right. So there you have it, people. This is another film review. Listen, go to SoundCloud.com/The Film Review. Listen to us, in podcast form. You can go over to blogtalkradio.com/The Film Review and more, and listen to various different podcasts and radio programs that go all the way back to 2007, all the way up to today, right? Or you can go right over to YouTube to Crazon Dion on YouTube, youtube.com/Crazon Crazon Dion, and you can watch the film review, and you can check out the other features that we have. This has been another robust discussion. We'd like to thank all those who came in to watch. I want to shout out to Nikki Rich.
Yeah.
You know, the commentary is always great.
To Franklin.
As we go through, and everyone else who came in to watch. We will be back again next Sunday with another broadcast of the film review. Right now, we getting ready to go watch this documentary that they got coming up where they trying to slander Michael Jackson's name again. You know what I mean? Like, don't you have anything else to do? I know Michael Jackson makes a lot of money, but you know one thing? That's just gonna make him sell more records. It's not going to stop anything. It's going to make the next generation know who Michael Jackson is. And we're going to see who Michael Jackson is. They're going to listen to his music, and they're going to buy his music. And because no one believes what's being said. But we'll talk about that next Sunday. But anyway, this has been another great episode of the film review. We are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy Dave.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And we'll see you next time.
Advertise on shows produced by LordlandFilms.com.